Hello guys, in today's tutorial I'll train on Python, or we just continue with our training on Python. On our last tutorial we discussed on how you can get started with Python. We discussed on how you can install Python printer interpreter, on how you can install PyCharm, which is used to compile your code in Python. But in today's tutorial I'll continue on our training, whereby we'll discuss on Python syntaxes. We'll also discuss on how to insert comments in Python. Then on our last part we'll discuss on variables. Now, as you listened to or you watched our last tutorial, we introduced on how you can use PyCharm to compile your PyCharm to compile your Python codes. But in this tutorial we'll use Visual Studio Code. So you can just launch your Visual Studio Code, then you create a new file. After that you just go to your browser. I already created a new file or a folder here, and create a new folder here. So you just transfer this one into here. Okay, after that you just maximize and maximize your Visual Studio Code for clarity. Then okay, I just come here, then you just create a new file. You can write my first bench.py. We just write my first bench.py with an extension py. You press enter. Now it will create this. So in our last tutorial we discussed how you can print hello world in Python. I just say print, then into bracket here you can just use hello world. Now after that you can just press Ctrl F to run your program, or you can just come here. See now, it has printed out hello world. Now in this tutorial we'll discuss something else we call syntaxes. Syntaxes are just rules that are applied when you're writing your Python code or writing your Python program, and when they are violated it can bring a syntax error, or just it will not run the program. Okay, some of the syntaxes we'll look at is Python, or what you call Python identification. Python identification now is very vital in Python language, unlike in other programming languages where we use to enhance readability by the users, as they indicate the spaces left by when you're writing your command line. But in Python, spaces specifies the block of content, or it's just block of code. Once omitted, the program will bring an error. Identification can be applied when writing the Python variables or writing normal printout. Okay, let's see. When you're writing, let's say you have, can just have this one as head. You can just have the variable as 9, or you can just say if x Okay, you can just say is 9. Okay, let's run our program. So you can also go here, then you just run your program. Okay, let's see what happens. Nothing it prints because x is not greater than 9, so it prints nothing. So you can include else. Print, just to say else print. This is false. This is false. This is false. Just to say. You see now, it prints out false. It prints out false. Now, let's explain what is identification now. Identification is this distance from here. Is this distance from here up to here. This distance from here up to here. This distance from here up to here. You see now this distance for print is the same as this one. This one for if and this one is the same. Let's say you just space this one. Let's see now. You see now already it brings an error. It brings an error. And you see now an indented amount does not match the previous intent. So this one does not match. So it will bring an error. Already it has an error. So that's what we mean by identification. Let's you can just space this one. You can just space this one. Okay. Just to space this one. Okay. Then run our program. Run our program. Up now you understand what is identification. Identification is that distance or that space left before you write your code line and your the margin. So the other part we'll be looking at is something else. So now you can insert or you can insert comments. So you may have comments is just when you just want to write a comment in between your codes, probably to explain a certain content or concept or just elaborate on your codes. So you may have a single line comment. You may have a single line comment whereby you use hash. You use that one. So this is my single line comment. So that's how you insert a single line comment. Now you have used hash to insert a single line comment. Now this comment is not printed out or it just when you output your work, it does not appear in your in your printout. So the other thing you can just insert a triple line or just to insert what you call a triple, or you can just insert a several lines. So you can just use this that one to insert. You use this a triple quotes. Use this a triple quote to insert a several line comment. So in this space you just use so Okay, sorry for that. Can just say use this is a several line comment. Now that's how you insert as several line comment whereby you're using these quotes. Can just use okay. After inserting your comments, now we will learn on variables. We'll learn now on variables. Okay, we can have this one and see this. Can have this one and see this. Variables. Okay, sorry for that. Variables refers to the quantity. Refers to the quantity that can change anytime. Refers to the quantity that can change anytime within the context of the mathematical problem. They can be represented by the letters. So the commonly used letters, you can just use X, Y, or Z. X, Y, Z. So we can have an example of how you can write variables or how you can write variables. Now let's say you have X, this is 8. Now this is what? This is this is a okay, this is a hint type. You can say this is a hint type. Then you can have, let's say, 12.5. Then this is a float. Float type. Then you can just have S. So for the string, you insert it into double quotes, whereby this is a string type. This is a string type. Now that's how you insert, how you write your variables. Now, after you write variables, you can have an example of this one. You can just come here and just say print X. You can have print sorry for that, this is why. You can have print then you can just run your program. Okay, you see now it prints out Philo 12.5 and the other one is 8. Now after you print out that, so the next part we'll be looking at is how you to write a variable's name. Okay, you can have a how to write variables names. Okay, In this part, we'll just discuss how you can write variables name. For the first thing you need to know about variables, they are case sensitive. They are case sensitive. For instance, if we are just using name, then okay, you can have this one as one name, and the other one is name. These one are two different variables. They are two different variables, though they have the same letters, but they are. Thing we have said that variables are case sensitive. This one is capital letters, this one is in small letters. So the other part, look at how you write your variables. You need to know that variables cannot start with a number, cannot start with a number. Like you can't have name, you can't have this is not a this is wrong, or this is a wrong. This is a wrong variable. This is a wrong variable because it starts with 9. So this is wrong. This is wrong. Okay. The other one, you need to know variables can only start with the letter A to Z. A to Z can only start with A to Z, A to Z, or a underscore, which is this one. Okay, this is what we call underscore now. This is what we call underscore. Now, for instance, you can have this one. We have said that this is wrong. Yes, this is wrong, obvious. This is wrong. But to make it right, you can just use a underscore. You can use a underscore. Now, this is right. This is right. Now, the other part you can just use name. So this one start with a letter. You can just have eng. This start with a letter. So that's how you write your variable names. For instance, you can just have eng. You can have 24. Then you can just have the other one is x. You can have this one is okay. You can have fill. So you can just come here and then you print. You can have eng. Then the other one you can print x. Now you can just run your program. You can run your program. See how it appears. This is how now it appears. Now you have 24 as eng and the filo as now as string. Now the various ways, or now you can write variables, or you can just write variables for more than one word. So we are writing variables for more than one word, for more than one word. So we have several cases whereby we will use something we call snake case. Snake case now is whereby every word is separated from each by an underscore. Okay, this is case. This is snake case. Now, whereby each word is separated by, let's say you have my country name. Okay, you can just separate with it. This is what now we mean. My country name. That this is now a what you call snake case. Whereby each word is separated from each other by a underscore. Now, the other case we'll be looking at is what you call camel case. Camel case is now whereby every word starts with a capital letter after the first word. Let's say you have my country name. Now, This one, the first word is this one, so the other word is this is in capital letter, the other one is in capital letter, so this is right. This is what now we call camel case. Camel case. So the other case we'll be looking at is what we call Pascal case. Pascal case, whereby every word of word begins with a capital letter, or every word of each word, first letter of each word start with a capital letter. Let's say you have my country name. Now this is name. Now you have this one is capital letter, this one capital letter, the other one is capital letter. That's what we call Pascal case. So there are various ways on how you can write your variables. Now the other part we'll be looking at is assigning multiple. Now we'll be looking at assigning multiple values in variables, or you can assign multiple values in variables. Now you may have an example like this one. You can just say this one, then you can just say that. You can just okay. Okay, after writing that, you can just write, let's say the first one is philo. So you separate with a comma. You can just have John. These are names now. And the other part is separate with a comma. You can have the other one is Paul. Now you can just come here, then you just say print X okay. You can have this one as Y. You can have the other one is Z. Now you can just run your program. Now you can just come here, just run your program. Now it prints out John, Paul, they're all names. For X it prints Phil or the John, this one. So each one is allocated to each the number it is present. Now the other part we have that example. So this is example one, whereby you assign a single variable to each one to have a different string name. Or the other example you'll have is X. You can have X. This is another example now we'll be having. Then this one, they should print the same name. Now you just come here, then you just say print Y, and you can just say paste this Z. Now you can just run your program. Okay, for each letter, if you say print X, print Y, print Z, it will print philo, because the same, all the variables are just allocated to a single string, which is the same. Now example 3 is whereby, remember you're looking at assigning multiple values in variables. So you can have languages whereby you'll have, or you can just have this one is, and you can have the first one is JavaScript, separate with a comma. You can have C++, you can have Java. Now these are now languages. You can have allocate them to, let's say you have A, B, and you have C. Now you can just say this one, you allocate them to languages. You allocate them to languages. Now if you say print this is Y, and the other part you'll just say print this is Z. Now you may run your program and see how it appears. Sorry for this, it says print X or name error is not defined, so you can just say A. Sorry for that, is A not X, and you have C. You can run your program and see how it appears. Now it print out Java for C, B for C++, and JavaScript for A. Now that's how you allocate variable or assign multiple values in variables. Okay, now the other part to look at how you can print out, or how you can output variables, Now you may have we use this plus sign or this sign with either text and a variable or just variables. So to output variables we use this sign. Now let's say for instance you have variable as eng, you can say, or just to say y equals to 24, and you can say print okay, sorry for that. I am, or you can just say I am enged. You can just say one. Okay. You can just say separate. You can just separate. You can just say yes. Okay. Okay. Just run your program and see how it appears. Sorry for this. To use plus sign, we'll discuss it in a later chapter. You can just use another example here. You can just say this one is equals to You can just say Python, or you can combine. Then you can just say print, okay, and just say we are learning. Okay, sorry for that. We are learning. Now, after that, just to say output your work. Just see how it appears. You see now, it outputs we are learning Python. So to separate this one, you can just come here and just space. So it will have a space there. So that's how you combine variables. Okay. Or you can just have another example here. Let's say how to output of variables. You can have X as this one is. You can have Python. Then you can have Y as JavaScript. Then you can say print, or you can just say Z equals to X. Okay, that one. You can just say print. You can just say print. Then you can just run your program and see how it appears now. See now how it appears. This is Python. This one. Now Python. That one is Python and JavaScript. It prints Python and JavaScript. So that's a various ways on how you can combine your variables. No, the last part we'll be discussing is something else we call global variables and local variables. Now we can have an example. So we'll be discussing now global or types of variables. Types of variables are two: global and can have types of variables. We can start with the first one, which is global variables. Global variables. Now this refers to the variables that are created outside the function. Now global variables refers to the variables that are created outside the function, and they can be utilized by anyone either inside or outside the function. Now we can have an example to illustrate global variables. Now this is what we're talking about. Now you can have either that one, then you can just say Python. Okay, can say this is a function now. Okay, sorry for this. This is not a semicolon, it's a full colon. Then you can say print. After that, you can just say no. Okay, there's an and education here and education here, which is the space. I need to spaces distant here. Can spaces. See now, this the error has gone. This is what you call education. Now you can't just have this one and just this one at the same line. So this is what education. This distant here. I should be what to call should be uniform in your program or your Python program. Let's run our program and see how it appears. Okay, now it prints out we are learning Python. Now this is what we are talking about global variables. They are defined global variables, they are defined outside the function. You see now it has been defined outside the function. You have the function here and they are just defined outside the function, and they can be utilized inside all anywhere in the program. You can just use them anywhere in your program. This is now what we call global variables. Okay, so the other part we're looking at is something we call local variables, or just let's use a comment. Local variables. You can have this one as now. These are variables that are created inside the function. They are created. So there is the opposite of global. They are created inside the function. They are created. They are just created inside the function. Now you may have an example here. We may have an example here. Or we can just have this one is you can now print, and you can just say you're learning okay. Okay, in between in your function you can just have y as Python. So after that you can just come here and just say my function, and you can just say that one. So there's an indented amount here, just to say okay. See now this one should be in line with this one. So this is now what you call an identification. You need to have a common, or just if you just space once, then the other one you'll just space once, or just space once, then this one should be in line with the other one. Now just run your program and see how it appears. Run your program and see how. Okay, now it prints out we are learning Python. You see now, in this one is a local variable. These are variables that are created inside the function. They are created inside the function. You see now, this one is created inside the function. Function is started here. It's just a, in this part is where you have defined or you have created your variables. Okay, thank you guys for watching through our tutorial. That's how we have come to an end of our training today, whereby we have learned on variables. Hope you have understood. You can share with your friends. You can subscribe to our channel, like and comment for future some tutorials on our channel. You may visit our website www.learntechphilo.com for more tutorials. Now,